Give me a sign. Now is the time.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Boomband Showcase. I'm your host, Jeff Taylor. We got a great set of guests today. I can't wait to jump right in. Let's go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Boomband Showcase. How's everybody doing?
Hi, ladies. Welcome.
Great, Jeff. Nice to meet you.
All right, Madison, hello.
Hello.
Introducing Madison as my sidekick. You've gotten to know her. You know, we started out, is that a good name or how do we do it? And what's ended up being really fun is Madison is kind of getting famous now for doing these synthesis versions of each of your backgrounds. And I know you've probably listened to that on other shows. I wanted to welcome each of you. I want to make sure I have your names. Keyna is the way you pronounce it. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, great. And Kelsey and Sara.
Perfect.
And I'm Jeff. I'm the host of the show, and I have a whole lifetime of experience in and around almost every aspect of recruiting. I know Sarah's been in a couple of events where I'm actually actively speaking, and
Yes.
I always get excited for these shows because we get a chance to really get to know each of you. And the goal of this show is very simple. It's like, let's just kind of be human and get away from the digital void and our resume that seems to just go into the void with, you just never know quite what's happening. And so this conversation always starts with the same couple questions. And one of them is, how are you doing right now in your search? And what's that one word that really describes your experience right now? And we can unpack that a little bit. And then the other thing I like to kind of team with that word is, what's your superpower? And there's no right or wrong answer to this, and we'll explore it together. And why don't we start with Keyna, and we'll go to Kelsey. You'll be on deck, and then Sara.
Hi. My job search is going interestingly. I'm taking a little detour right now. I started out, so I was laid off in October from a nonprofit, and I started out just applying frantically, then kind of honed my search a little bit, had a couple of interviews out of like 40 applications. So I did a little pivot, and I am back in school full time. So I plan to finish my associate's degree. So I've been really kind of busting through that. I should graduate hopefully come January, so I'll be in a much better place going forward. But honestly, like, I have a ton of experience, and I know that there's a place where I'm going to land. The job market's very different right now, as most people know. Anyone who reads LinkedIn can see just post after post of layoffs and changes. And so I think, where I'm at is just trying to use my superpower for advancement at this point, and just saying, like, I'm going to decide at the end of this journey where I go next. But this is the really big thought process piece. I'm really good at taking in a lot of data, a lot of information, and then turning that into a story. So now it's just time to do my story and focus on that.
And Keyna has a background in grants and funding, and she's kind of like a strategy professional. But now you kind of want to maybe pivot into some leadership we were talking about, so we can even dive into that in a little bit.
That's what we're looking at.
So was the word that I got sort of frantic, or what was the word you used to describe your first kind of applying for everything moment?
Oh, it was definitely frantic.
Okay.
We sort of knew it was coming, but at the same time, like, we had several rounds of layoffs. Nonprofits are struggling right now with funding and different things. So really, it was just, we kind of knew it was coming, but it didn't really feel real. It didn't feel like it was really going to happen. And so we all kind of were just hanging in there. There was about 15 of us at that time that were let go all at once. So it started out really, really frantically, just saying, I need to get this done, and I need to get out there and just get a job right away. But then I realized there was some options out there. In Massachusetts, they have free college if you're over 26 and you don't have a degree yet. So you can do free community college and just kind of get out there, and they pay for everything. They pay for your books. So it's a really excellent program, and not that many people know about it, but yeah, I said,
how do you find out about this program? What's it called? Free college?
Oh gosh, I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head, but it's
All right.
through the state of Massachusetts. Um, they have definitely like a catchword for it. I can grab that later. And
Awesome. We'll get it up on the site and we'll share it. Tell me, the superpower, it seems like it might be like a pivot or something here, but what's your word for it?
Yeah, it's definitely a pivot, sort of. At this point, it's starting to feel more like a reinvention. I was reading something the other day, and it was like these periods of sort of self-reflection and sort of at this age, I'm just really in a place where this pivot makes a much bigger difference than it would have 10, 15, 20 years ago. So I think, this is what I'm looking to do is sort of get to the part of my journey where I'm kind of riding a good solid wave that's not going to fall out from under me. So,
Did you go back to Mount Wachusett?
yes,
And what are you studying now?
I'm studying civic engagement and leadership, and working on hopefully a capstone project that will help individuals with disabilities learn more about voting and participating in their local politics, things like that. So I have a lot of balls in the air right now. I am working part-time for a small nonprofit, doing some grants for them and doing a ton of just kind of research to see what kind of programs could be funded and by whom. So I'm busy working on that too, just a few hours a week. But they're sailing. So Regatta Point Community Sailing is the name of it, and they do like community boating in Worcester.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Okay, so let's shift to Kelsey. And I'm looking for that kind of special word. Some people don't describe it as special, but I'll call it that for now. And then what's that superpower to go with it?
Special word is more of a phrase for me. It's into the ether. That is what applying to jobs has kind of felt like. Maybe because I'm just sticking to like one job platform and just hitting the quick apply button most of the times. And then on the other hand of it, it's connections. I have so many people reaching out to me with odds and ends of jobs, freelance work to pick up, and people being like, give me your resume, I'll send it to so-and-so. So like there's like two parts of it for me. Like one where I'm searching for myself and one where I have such a great community and network that is helping me search within there.
So you're a senior graphic designer.
Yep.
We'll kind of put that out there. I saw you do freelance as well as looking for full-time roles. Is that right?
Correct.
And
How
Kelsey came through us through it was like a Boomband connection as well. She and Matt, Matt's one of our employees here at Boomband as well. They used to work together at one of Kelsey's past companies. So it's all full circle, and to play kind of off of your connection, we would have never found you, Kelsey, if it wasn't for Matt. So again, it's connecting those dots, which I just think is so important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that quick apply for a minute, because I think a lot of people are experiencing that. Have you had any activity come from that?
The only activity I've had come from that is the emails saying no. That is, and that's only one out of maybe 20. So at least there is a response-ish. But yeah.
Yeah, I would say that there's sort of like three things that can happen. You hear nothing, or they get back to you and say, thank you for sending in your resume.
Right.
And there's sometimes a consideration for or going through a process. Sometimes they'll say you're not right for this role, but will save you for future roles. I think each of these things, if you look at it, it's sort of like a third, and a third is what I've experienced with some other applicants that I know and have talked to. So a third, you get nothing. Third, you get a thank you, and sometimes it's so quick, right? And sometimes that's a turn down, which is frustrating because you feel like they never really got a chance to evaluate you at all. And then there's that one that creates this kind of extended hope, which is, oh, we're in our process, sit tight. But in many cases, there's no response ever again, and so the the idea of putting closure on these things is challenging.
Right.
We'll talk a little bit about the ideas around that, but I want to pull your superpower in. So you're in the ether and you're quick applying, easy applying, and it's not so easy. Wow. What superpower kicks in for you?
Superpower that kicks in is the kind of like a Bob the Builder. Can she fix it? Yes, she can. And that kind of just applies to everything in my life too, from like plumbing problems to creaky doors.
Can you say that like it's on the cartoon? It's like Bob the Builder.
Can she fix it?
Kelsey the Builder. Yes, she can.
Can. Absolutely. And like, so like on the opposite side of the quick apply, there's the writing of the cover letters. There's tailoring my resume per each job description for each ones that I want to apply to make sure I'm hitting those points. And sometimes like they're like, oh, you need to be proficient in Figma, which I am, but it was not on my resume, so I added that to my resume and then sent it to them. So kind of just the making the puzzle, I guess, in a way.
Well, I mean, to some extent, that yes, she can is such an important part of this process, because that's that resilience. And then you're also talking about customization. And if we just talk about that for a minute, I think there's a danger here where you're using the job posting as a cheat sheet.
Right.
And then you're starting to kind of customize your resume against that job posting. It's really important, if you are going to do that kind of customization, that from my perspective, at least, you make sure that that's not just like a word that goes into your resume, but that you actually describe how you're using Figma. And if you can't do that, then you probably shouldn't add that. And I think there's one of the challenges is that there's not much restraint. I always talk about a base resume, which is the one where everything is sort of there in the way you would describe your experiences. And then there's like the custom resume, which seems to kind of drift around based on what the job posting is. So just that's a watch out for, but it sounds like the way you're doing it is actually good.
Absolutely.
The easy apply piece, are you all using that?
Yep.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is that in some of the ATS systems, it doesn't complete the application. And so incomplete applications are going to get turned down right away. It's as if you got tired somewhere in the middle of it and didn't finish. And so the incomplete sometimes don't get anything at all, because they figure maybe you would come back to it at some point and finish the application, or that you didn't care enough to do it. And so I'm always reticent to just go easy apply unless you're also following up with the company and trying to reach out to that company directly. The challenge is if you go through easy apply and then you also go directly, now you have two resumes kind of floating around in there. And I don't think that's ideal either. So picking your strategy is very important.
Definitely.
Sara, let's actually come to you. I love having you on the show. I've really enjoyed your interaction in a couple of networking events that I've been a part of, and so want to compliment you for being out there and being bold. And tell us about your work.
So I've been out of the job market for about 2 years. Last I worked was in 2024, but that is because I was waiting for my work permit, and I just got it like 3 weeks ago. So as soon as I got it, I was like, let's get back on track, let's start hunting for jobs. And as someone who expects immediate results, in a week, I was like, okay, maybe I'm facing the issue of not getting responses back. But then thanks to, the ability and my curiosity of networking, I got to connect with Jeff on a certain group, and I got to connect through a group and I met a lot of people, and they kind of refined my way of thinking. And after that, I tweaked my whole job search. So it's been I will say my job search officially started 2 weeks ago. And it's been very targeted. It's been very focused on what industry I got to work on, what I'm towards, like what I'm inclining towards. And the results have been pretty fascinating. So yeah, I'll say I've been out in the job for about 2 weeks. the job market that I'm seeing is evolving. That's the word that I want to use. It's evolving. It's not like how
Mhm.
it was even 3 months ago. So that is the word that I'll use. And if I have to say the superpower that is getting me inside the job market, making it easier for me, is the ability to be a magnet to networking. And I think I kind of attracted that by manifesting it. I don't know how it happened, but it's like something naturally happens. Like if I'm thinking that I want to get into this, I just start finding out ways that just flow into my life. And that is exactly when the connection with Jeff flew in my life. And I was like, is this a sign or something? So I don't know, like 2 weeks later, here I am sitting with you on a podcast, and I did not expect that. Like, so I'm pretty hopeful of the job market, and I'm continuously learning it every single day.
Yeah. Let's talk about this magnet for networking. I read on your LinkedIn profile that you're an extrovert, like, period. And then you say that you're an HR nerd, like, period. And then your last statement in your description, in your summary, says, you get my vibe. Why aren't we talking already? And
Exactly.
so I was like, that just made me crack up. And I think it actually does kind of show an attitude that's really good. And so I want to talk more about getting your work visa, and we'll do that in the breakout room.
Perfect.
Just if I look at kind of each of our guests on the podcast today, first of all, thank you for taking a little risk and kind of putting yourself out there. And I hope the reward is that people get to know you. And so I really want your personalities to come out. But I look at, Sara, where you are, you're evolving. And I think each of you are evolving. I look at the other words, and if you see me off, maybe not looking interested, I actually keep like a one-page stat on each of you. I'll show it because it's not very sophisticated. And what it does is it gives me a guide to be able to keep the conversation going. And so Kelsey was saying, like, into the ether. And I think we've all sort of described this kind of scary moment where you don't really know whether people are paying attention. And then I love the Keyna, like, course correct from frantic, which there's a worry that we all kind of get in that frantic state. And so how do we slow things down a little bit? And I'm amazed at how you pivoted and found clarity and go back to school. And we'll talk about that in the breakout. Any questions from each of you just as you're thinking about your search? Because we've got a little time just to like talk amongst ourselves. So.
Not really. I would ask you a lot more questions in the regarding AI, like how AI is driving into HR, and that is something that I'm very leaning into. But yeah, I'll have to pick your brain for that.
Well, so let's talk a little bit about AI, because I think it's sort of hard to have a conversation and not have it be there. It doesn't have to be overpower everything, but I think that there is power in it. So maybe I just ask each of you how you're using AI in your job search, or maybe in a general sense as well. Keyna, why don't I start with you?
Um, so I am an early adopter. When I was working on a lot of very lengthy grant narratives. So my boss was very much encouraging me to learn how to use it. So I
It
have been,
meaning like ChatGPT.
yes, absolutely ChatGPT. I don't do a lot of design work or anything, so a lot of it is different versions of ChatGPT wherever I land. I think Claude is a very good one for like data and things like that. ChatGPT is fine for narrative and things like that. But the way I've learned to sort of use it is not to build the narrative for me. I feed it so much context. You really have to train it. So I've been working at that for probably a good couple years now, and just kind of getting it to understand, like, say you're working with an agency and it needs to know like about your data, about your location. And I question it often and say, where did you get that information? If it gives me something that looks a little sus, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, tell me where you got that. So You really have to be careful and very critical of it, but it can do amazing things if you really like feed it the right information.
Yeah.
Ethics aside, it's a very useful tool. And so there's one other thing I wanted to say is coming from two different worlds. When you go from higher education, which I did, into nonprofit and other sectors, you have on one hand, the schools are saying, no, 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 resist. And then on the other hand, my boss was saying, yes, please use it. And not for the sake of my writing was poor. It's just they're using it to start to really streamline the way that we do things
Yeah.
and kind of make more efficiencies because obviously nonprofit budgets are stretched. So yeah, I was kind of caught in the middle of that saying like, okay, on one hand, the college is telling me it's completely unethical. And on the other hand, my boss is saying you ought to use that. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in an awkward time right now where it's like, don't use it, do use it. It's going to take my job. No, it's going to be my job. We're in this intersection, and I think what you described it as occasionally it's a little sus. I have 12 and 15-year-olds. That would be at my my dinner table. That's funny. The thing that I like about what you shared is that you have to feed it a lot of information, and I think that idea. Some people will say, solve this problem for me, and it maybe starts, but it doesn't do a very good job. But if you feed it, the equivalent of a page of your thinking, and then say like, what am I thinking well here, and where would you make suggestions? All of a sudden, it's framing your own thinking in new ways, and I get really excited about it when I do that. And I use it for LinkedIn posts, not to write my LinkedIn posts. I write my LinkedIn posts. I use Claude. I write my whole post on Claude, and then I'll say, can you improve this, or like, do you grok what I'm saying? Do you? And then Claude will say, "Oh, you use grok," because I made fun of Claude before.
Yeah,
Sometimes I can check things at ChatGPT or Grok, and so now it actually knows that I'm going to make a Grok joke. So, the other thing that I really like is that you have to check that work. And so that's a key thing, is that I find all the time on people's posts, they say, coming in 2026, things are going to be different. It's like, oh, your ChatGPT or Claude wrote that. It was trained in 2025. It doesn't know it's 2026. And that's a real tell for somebody if they're putting work out there and it's acting like it's 2025. So I thought that was cool. Kelsey, how about for you?
Very much the same page, like worried and excited. Like, don't know if I should be using it for everything or leaving it in the dust. And definitely, like, my mind is worried about like the ethics of it, how much water consumption there is. And there's so much that I don't know about even that side of it. And there's so much that the public probably doesn't know either, what is being publicized by the media. And I mainly use it similar to you, Jeff, for like writing emails, and then I'll like plug it in and it'll give me some different sentences, and then sometimes I'll have to go back and change it to sound more like me because it'll get rid of my explanation points, or like it will use a word that is a lot less fun than the word I was going to use. So it's kind of like finding ways to use it but not letting it remove your personality.
Oh yeah, I regularly say don't rewrite that.
Right.
That's the way I want that to be written. And so after a while, it starts to understand your style of writing. And so the other thing I'm really liking about Claude, I don't know if ChatGPT does this, I don't use it as much now, is when I put out one of these, like maybe 6 paragraphs of prompting my idea, and it says, okay, let me ask a few questions to make sure I'm going to get this right. And it asks me questions about tone. It asks me questions about audience. It sometimes even asks me about length. And so it'll start to, and then it'll ask about attitude, right? You know, what I want to do. And so I like that aspect of it as well. Sarah, let me pull you into the conversation. How do you use it?
Currently I'm using it to better my job research, how I'm hunting for jobs. So, there's this platform called Zapier. It automates tasks for you, and it uses Copilot as its AI. And I just wanted to give it a try. And so what it does for me is that it rates my resume according to the job post I put on it. It tells me what I'm missing, what I need to put to make it better, why this role is a progress for me or a step back for me, and what message I should write to the LinkedIn recruiter. And it just does that for me in a couple of seconds. And this way I realized a lot of job posts that I would just initially just apply to, I just stop. I don't apply to it anymore, because if I'm not a good fit, I don't want to be in the crowd where maybe I'm taking up space for a potential candidate who could be a good
Wow.
fit for it. So
Yeah. It's very interesting that both of you are thinking in a macro sense of how it might impact other people or what the environmental impact might be of these large language models and the amount of power they're using and the amount of water they're using. I think there's probably continued education on this impact from the outside, but I also think using it for yourself. Kelsey, I did not hear you say I use Midjourney or I use Canva or I use the design tools that are there.
I use them within Adobe. Adobe has implemented a bunch of new AI tools within their current programs. So there's like the generative expand for images if you're missing a part of an image. I actually just used that today on a project. And basically I stick with theirs because of their commercial license that they have with it. It is supposedly all trained on images that they had the approval to actually train on from the artists. So that's
one of the things I'm sorry to kind of come over the top on this, but I want to encourage you, if Adobe is your suite that you really enjoy using, I'd also encourage you to explore outside that suite.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's always incentives that keep things in that suite, right? And so there may be great tools out there that could do certain things. And what I find is I always like ChatGPT just for basic research. It just did well for me. But I found Claude was just a more enjoyable writing partner. And in the end, I do a lot of writing, right? Where you do a lot of design work. I think I would go and kind of check the personalities of each of these things. And Perplexity for me was always more about here's the the attribution for a particular idea. I always liked that. And Perplexity was one of the first to do that. Now they all sort of do that. And so you start to see this kind of blending. But now with co-work, some of the things that are happening, I think, with Anthropic and with Claude are exciting. And I still have work that I'm trying to do as well. And so I love the fact that each of you are exploring with this. You said it's there's two parts, Kelsey. What did you say? There's this worry part and there's this excitement part. And I think I always say, if you're nervous, you're in danger of learning something. And I love that as a concept. And so that worry, if you can channel that, could be a great learning tool as well. So, all right. We're going to go to the breakout session. Why don't I, Keyna, why don't I take you first? And then I'll mix it up a little bit here. And Sara, I'll take you second. And then Kelsey, take you third. Madison and I are going to go off into that breakout session. And then two of you are going to stay here. And you guys can talk, get to know each other. I've really enjoyed this sort of like little support network that happens here as you get to know each other a little bit too. So feel free to talk and brainstorm. And then what I'll do is, Keyna, when you come back through, just tag Sara, and Sara, when you come back through, tag Kelsey. And I'd like you to stay because then we'll pull together at the end and
We'll
talk
be
a
back
little
at the end.
Give me a sign.
Hey, Keyna, welcome to the breakout room.
Hey, how are you?
So good. How do you like it so far? What did you think of the first part of the session?
Oh, it's fun so far. I'm looking forward to meeting the other players.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look at that. It got players in there. I love that.
I did it.
Players. The boom band lingo. I love it.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
sort of a style in the breakout room, and I know Madison has already kind of interviewed you and got to know you a little bit. So, Madison, take it away.
Awesome. Well, Keyna, you bring a dynamic background and a story that doesn't fit into a single lane. And that's exactly what makes you stand out. You've worked across industries, you've worn multiple hats, and you built a skill set that's both broad and deeply practical. And now you found your stride in grants and funding, where everything you've done comes together. From federal transportation funding to community-based programs, you've taken on the full life cycle. You've done proposal development, compliance, reporting, and budgeting, bringing order to complex systems and turning opportunity into real funded impact. You've managed portfolios exceeding $10 million, contributed to major federal applications, and helped secure funding that supports housing, childcare, transportation, and community initiatives. You build the infrastructure behind the work, the pipelines, the tracking systems, reporting frameworks, which create success that isn't just a one-time thing, but repeatable time and time again. But your journey is anything but conventional. You started working right out of high school. You built a foundation in financial services, then spent years in insurance, developing strong relationship and trust with your clients. Along the way, you've leaned into a love of writing, and that really still is a skill that you hold today because it shows up in the way that you communicate, tell stories, and bring your proposals to life. Now, as we talked about a little bit in the main studio, you made a defining move. You chose to go back to school to complete your associate's degree. Not because you needed to, but because you refused to let a missing credential dictate your future. You made the decision to invest in yourself, continuing to work, grow, and push forward while pursuing your education. This choice says everything about you. You adapt, you build, and you keep going, even when the path isn't always clearly laid out. Outside of work, that same grounded, real energy shows up. You're in a band with your husband, you play the guitar and you sing, and you guys do 80s and 90s covers at the local pub and various venues, which I think is just so fun. And that really kind of goes to your personality of wanting to bring people together through music and shared experiences. You love to travel, people watch, spend time at the live shows, but sometimes just enjoy the simple moments with your beloved puppy and cat at home. While you're finishing school, as again you mentioned earlier, you're working part-time, which just shows your hardworking dedication that you bring to every single thing that you do. You're ready to step into a leadership role, potentially maybe doing some consulting or more of a strategy-focused role where you can take everything you've built and really have a bigger seat at the table. I'm so excited to see what's on the horizon for you. Really, Keyna, you shine and bring on-stage energy everywhere you go. On or off the stage, you are a rock star, and I'm really excited to dive in, learn more, and welcome to the breakout room. We're going to have some fun today.
Thanks. I love that. I'm ready to go. I need to go apply for some jobs now.
Got to get all pumped up, get the hype.
Yeah.
You are a rock star, girlfriend.
Yeah, I might need some motivation from you later. I think I might check in again. Yes, I'm
Did
so
you
glad
miss
to be here, and
anything?
I want to thank you. Just thank you for reaching out and making this happen. It's really fun so far.
Awesome.
Oh, we're so happy to have
Did you
you.
miss anything? Just synthesizing your background?
I don't think so. She really dug in, and I will say I've built out my dossier, and it was fairly simple, and it's really fun that it can be multiple things and really tell a story because often you get that dry, ugly resume. They don't want you to over embellish it. This kind of tells people who you are and where you've been, and I think, gives a lot of context for why your path went the way it did. Like adding the life events is huge. Like Madison and I talked about that, is saying like, if someone took time off to care for a child that, if they had a baby and wanted to stay home for a year, that gives you that context that technically employers can't ask you about. They can find out. But you can't really, that's not something that comes up in an interview. It can't. So when you're trying to explain who you are and why something occurred the way it did, or your trajectory went the way it did, this kind of puts that there. So
So
I
And
love
let's
we get to
that.
see, and we get to see pictures of your puppy. Look at Sophie.
Oh, she's in there. So yeah, I really had a good time with it. I love the colors. I think it looks really nice. I haven't dug in too much to telling the stories yet. I love that there's an opportunity to write in there. I did write a short little story about how we got our dog, Sophie, and so I was able to play around with that a little bit. And pretty sure I saved it, but yeah, we'll take a look for it. And
one of
so yeah,
the
I'm still learning the platform, but just getting started with it, and I think it's really fun.
Yeah, one of the things that's interesting is you're in a band. We'll talk about that. But there's some skills that you have developed. I mean, I saw you've played the guitar for 10 years. So even guitar playing could be something that you could call out. But running that band, my guess is that you've got skills in being organized and reliable and setting goals and achieving those goals and performing and what does it mean to build a relationship with the crowd and there's marketing associated with this and branding and logo development. And so one of the things I'm always excited about is when I see something like that that's a big thing in your life that has less to do with your commercial experience, but everything to do with your life experience. I call that life's work. And I would go in and select skills that are associated with that band member and that band job that you do. And then that will also then, if you go to the Power Lab, it'll show up there as some of your skills. And so
I
the
just
whole
love it
idea
already
here-
shows emerging as leadership, because that's what that is the direction you told me you wanted to be on. And look, you're already emerging as part of your Power Labs as leadership.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about you. I'm curious. You were frantic, applying, kind of anywhere, everywhere, and then all of a sudden, like, what happened that got you deciding that it was time to go back to school?
Basically the reality of the job market right now, and as it's shifting, I felt like, and I think Sara said that even over the last 3 months, it's changed exponentially. We talked about AI. They're using AI, but they don't want you to use AI for your cover letter. Like there's a lot that's going on right now. And I had an interview, and basically I had gone through 2 rounds of interviews, and I got to the very last hour of the very last one, and they said, "What about your bachelor's? How come you haven't finished it?" And I didn't have a good answer. And I said, "Well, I haven't, and I had a whole lot of transfer credits, but not enough to do this in a year's time, which I really need to do." So I wanted to close the loop. So I chose the associates and transferred all my credits. But it was really just, that was a moment where I said, okay, I can't continue to let these credentials hold me back, because I have all the experience.
You have the experience.
So sometimes the important reality kind of helps you make these choices. And so that's a job you wanted, couldn't get that job without that degree, and then decided to go back, which I think is great. Let's talk a little bit about the grant writing and the grant management and the project associate roles, and like, what do you want to do on the other side of kind of finishing this associates? Do you want to continue that work, or do you want to step up from that work?
I'm hoping I can step up to a degree. I'd really like to be in more of a place. I'm more of a systems thinker than I am down in the dirt details person, and I like to fix systems and look for efficiencies. But not just that. I think that I like to have some sort of, at this stage in my career, I want to have some say in the direction we'd be going to get to that, meeting the mission of any nonprofit or, and I really think that I have a lot to offer towards strategy and just, I think outside the box, and I want to start digging into systems that don't work and making them so that they sort of pull us upward instead of sort of that status quo, which, it just, when in my previous work, it just has been really hard to get enough momentum, or push upward, I guess. I would love to take that sort of managing up piece and move that into, I'm now kind of driving the change. That would be really nice.
It's interesting. I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, and you wrote a really thoughtful post about job loss is inevitable, and what does that mean? And one of the things you said was be kind to yourself. And that seems. Let's talk about that for a minute. Like, why did you write that?
I think that even though, and I think each of my coworkers went through this as well. We had talked afterwards. I feel like no matter how it happens and no matter what the reasons are, you're still going to sort of internalize a little bit of it and say, did I do something wrong?
Right.
And in general, like, I mean, we didn't really have that feedback. It was, you did a great job. We're stuck in this mud right now, and we have to make hard decisions. But it's still really hard not to feel like a failure. And so, it took me a few months to really just kind of grab my bootstraps and say, I'm not gonna let this define me, or move my trajectory downward. I thought, well, maybe I'll just go be an administrative assistant somewhere. But I have too much experience for that. That's where the college came in, really.
And those jobs aren't easy to get either. No. Right? Because as you go sort of like down funneled in what would have been experiences you could have handled, a lot of those are also being handled by AI. So, I think this is probably a great step, stepping up to your degree, I think is great. I also saw you seem to be really unselfishly helping others by putting other jobs out there on LinkedIn, for people to see in your network. And I thought that was actually part of that self-care was actually helping and giving back in the community, which I thought was really good. Let's talk about this band. It's pretty cool. 80s and 90s.
You said 10 years. You've been doing it 10 years, right?
Well,
Yes.
she's been playing guitar for 10 years.
If you had asked me 10 years ago if I would still be doing it, that's a whole other thing. But it's really fun. We spend a lot of our time, like Madison mentioned, in local pubs, so it could get a little rowdy. It just feels like, it's almost like my mom can't believe I do it. She says, you're so shy. Why? And I used to be. But it changed me. Like this was not a conversation I could have had 10 years ago, or appear on a podcast or anything like that. I was very quiet, very behind the scenes. It really brought me out of my shell. And
so do you play Bananarama? Do you play V52?
Oh, gosh,
like what kind of stuff do you play?
We play like Pixies and Nirvana and a lot of like kind of old frat rock stuff. But I think I love to do a little bit of Fleetwood Mac, and
now, do you
so
sing as well?
A few 70s here and there.
Do you sing as well?
I do. So I do a lot of harmonies. That's my favorite, but I will do a few songs. And we just really work well together. Obviously, 10 years in, we haven't had any big falling outs, and they keep booking us, so we just keep doing it.
Yeah. How many of you are there in the
three
Hooligans?
of us. It's just the three of us. People can't believe how loud we are. We're so loud.
It's you and your husband.
Yeah.
And what does he play?
He plays lead guitar. And then a friend of mine, Sean, because Sean Daly and the Hooligans, he does a lot of the lead singing and some guitar. We actually don't have drums. We have arranged our songs in such a way that we can fill out all of the space and play like any other band you hear. So over time, we've thought about it.
Do you have a drum machine?
No, we literally don't need it. We've asked people about, do you think we should add? And they're like, no, No, it's great. Like
If-
we spent a lot of time figuring out how different things can work together. I have a couple of pedals, like a little bit of a grunge pedal. And even on an acoustic guitar, that fills out enough. But guitar instruments, most people don't know, are actually percussion instruments. So
Right.
it works out because that rhythm you're holding down is still there.
Yeah.
And so if you do it right and you're selective about which songs you choose and what the sort of defining piece of the song is going to be, it works.
So, what are the skills that you develop around the band?
Yes, definitely. We do a lot of marketing, a lot of social media posts. I would say my husband's in charge of the flyers. Again, I'm not a graphics person, but he tends to do a flyer every time. We post it on Facebook. We post it on Instagram. We're kind of all over the place there. And then sometimes we'll just pop up random places, and sometimes and what I mean by that is like maybe one of us goes to an open mic, or maybe we have a lot of opportunities to sort of sell our wares. A friend of ours started an app and program that is called Tip Tunes, and you feed your library in of songs, which we have about I think 70 or 80 songs. You feed that into it. They scan a code at the table, and they can tip you to play any one of those songs. So
that's cool.
it's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
And then you don't
Good
have
idea.
to do as much to really like what ends up happening is you can play what they want to hear when they want to hear it. And that was something that we are pretty good at choosing, but this just gave us a whole new level of feedback about they can like songs. We all agreed when he built it that there would not be a dislike button because that would just be devastating. So while you're up there playing and there's dislike buttons coming through. But yeah, it's just a really fun way to sort of get a better read on the audience at the time. But the last time we played, everybody was singing along. It was really fun. And just like when people start singing along, that's when it gets really.
What's
really
your
satisfying.
favorite song?
Oh gosh, I like them all. We play a few obscure songs. I actually like one called Kansas City. It was Marcus Mumford and somebody else. And basically what they did, there was an album of Bob Dylan songs. That they sort of collaborated to put to music. So it's pretty neat. It's kind of a cool thing. So it's actually a Bob Dylan sort of set of lyrics that they put to music. So it's called Kansas City. It's really nice.
And do these kind of songs end up being asked for? Like people like them?
Sometimes, yeah. Right now, I don't want to tell you what our most requested song right now, but we end every night with
Oh, we have
Purple
to
Rain.
know.
Purple
gosh.
Rain.
Okay,
Yeah.
but with the caveat that we might be able to cut this out. So lately, my husband can play the beginning of any song. So he'll do that in between. And people heard him play Mother by Danzig. And so now we do it, which is bizarre, but it's not. Like, it works for us. Those kinds of songs, all of a sudden, one time we just out of the blue played Fight for Your Right to Party by the Beastie Boys. And
So
we
good.
didn't know it, but it's only a few chords, and we just said, let's go for it. They asked for it, so we did it. And so, yeah, we have a lot of fun.
It's so good. All right. This is sort of like our fun round. You can spend a week, and you have to spend a week with one of your 80s bands. Which one would you pick?
80s band I would spend a week with. Whew, they're pretty rough. I would say, oh gosh, that's a tough one. Probably Ted Leo and the Pharmacists. Look it up.
Wow. Why?
They're fun. Well, he actually started out in a band called Chisel, and he's just a blast. He's just so fun to watch. His band is amazing. He's had a few iterations since I started following him in, I don't know, the 90s sometime. But yeah, it's like an old punk sort of.
So do you like to go to shows as well as to perform in them?
All the time. All the time. We love going to shows.
And do you pick up little things? Oh, I like that light, or I like the way they sing that, or
I always take pictures of the pedal boards for my husband, and sometimes I just want to get up there and sing. That can be kind of frustrating sometimes. You're like, oh, I just don't want to get.
I just want to get on stage.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. You can have one special ability for a week. What would it be?
Oh, stop worrying. I just want to stop worrying. That's all.
That's it.
I want to have a week where there is no worries. None.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And it almost seems like you could actually get that special ability. You could design your life around, for 1 week, I'm basically just not going to worry about things. And then you would have achieved something that you just wish for. Why not?
I should try it. I really should. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a journey. I'll say, like, nobody that appears here is going to say that this is easy.
Yeah.
No.
It's it can be sort of life altering, and it can be life changing in a good way, but it's frustrating, and you really want to support other people, but also keep your head above water. There's nothing you can really say that replaces just feeling like you have a job and an income that's steady, and that you can kind of manage what's coming next. So yeah. That's the goal.
So I want to leave you with a couple of challenges. One is, don't wait until you're done with school to start thinking about what you want to do, because you've already experienced that frantic market. So maybe you can break that market down a little bit. Yeah. I think the second thing I'd recommend is, I think your best post of everything that I read, mostly you repost other things, was the one you wrote. And so seemed to be a good writer. And so maybe communicate those things, because I think being visible is an important part of your job search process today, right? And that you'll get credibility and people understanding you more in that process and doing that original work. So I would challenge that. And I guess the last thing is, you have great experience from your grant writing. So even as you're reinventing yourself, think about, how could I take what I've learned into a more senior grant writing experience? Because that's going to be the most natural place for you to land safely and quickly. Trying to reinvent yourself, pivot and reinvent were your words. And if you go too far outside of that experience, it's going to be hard, because you're just getting that associate's. You still could get pressure to go back and get that bachelor's, which could be in your longer term plan.
Yeah.
And so that would be my recommendation, is take your new knowledge and go own the thing that you really understand and try to push into that leadership that you're talking about. So thank you for being part of our breakout. We're always grateful for people to put themselves out there, and you very much have. And it's a pleasure. I would love to see your band. Where do we see your band?
Usually, I live close to the Fitchburg area, so we're looking at Fitchburg, Leominster. We're outside of Worcester by about, probably 20 miles, if that.
Yeah.
And
Do you post videos to YouTube?
My father-in-law does sometimes, so I'll take a look and see if there's anything we have. I'm sure I'll add it if I can find anything, and I'll add it to my dossier so people can watch.
Perfect.
So to get in touch with Keyna, you can go right to showcase@boomband.com and reach out. And I'm going to send you back to the main room, and you're going to go grab Sara and send her our way.
We'll see you back in the main studio in a little bit. Bye, Keyna.
Give me a sign.
Hey, Sara, welcome to the breakout. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you guys?
Good. How is your one-on-one kind of chat with Kelsey while you were waiting to come over?
It was fun. We talked about movies. We talked about the job market. We got to know about each other, that she's also worked as a barista. We talked about some coffee recipes.
I automatically feel like you guys are going to become friends, knowing you love coffee
totally,
like I do.
totally.
All right. Well,
Instant friends.
we have a certain style in the breakout, and I know Madison spent time with you. So why don't we kick it off, Madison, and let's get to know Sara.
Absolutely. Well, Sara, you are a global HR and talent leader who builds from the ground up, and you do it fast. You step into growing companies and turn hiring into momentum. From scaling teams across Pakistan and Amsterdam to closing 30 plus roles in just a few months, you create structure, clarity, and results in real time. You've been employee number one in HR, and then you build the function as the company scales to over 60 people, partnering directly with leadership and thinking beyond recruiting into how the business actually grows. You shape teams, you influence decisions, and you build systems that last. But your story is so much bigger than your resume. And your journey is really, really, really inspiring. And it was so great to kind of have that one-on-one time with you. You moved from Pakistan to the US with your husband. You navigated the uncertainties of starting over in a brand new place. And now, as you mentioned, you just got your work authorization in hand. So now you're ready to step into that next opportunity. Connection is truly your edge. You've built a LinkedIn community of over 50,000 people by showing up, building relationships, and creating real value. And you just don't do it online. You do it in rooms and events and across real conversations. Fun fact, you've even been featured on a Times Square billboard, which not too many people can say that they've done that. So honestly, with all this, I'm just really excited to see kind of what you can do now with Boomband. I think it'll be excited to see your connections grow. Your foundation is very strong. You hold your MBA in Human Resource Management, and since moving to Indiana, you've continued to evolve. You invest in yourself through certifications and courses on Coursera, constantly sharpening your skills and staying ahead of where the industry is going. And kind of what we talked about a little bit earlier as well, what sets you apart is you just don't learn the technology, you actually then apply it. You built your own AI agent to help you with your job search, and then you've even had other folks reach out to you to ask you to help them do the same. Outside of work, your energy shows up. You enjoy traveling across the country. You like to explore new restaurants every week. You love meeting people and turning everyday moments into connection points. You're a foodie at heart, and you even keep a running journal of every restaurant you've ever visited and what you've ordered. You shared a favorite with me was Holy Buckets, a great fried chicken place. And all I can really think about as you were telling me this is that I feel like there could be some sort of a food blog in your future, because I would totally follow along to get your reviews. I think that'd be pretty cool. You are a coffee lover, and you always enjoy going and discovering new local spots and really supporting the local businesses. Your competitive side shows up, though, when it's game time. Whether you're playing Exploding Kittens, Codenames, or Uno No Mercy, which I have since ordered, you play to win, and that same drive really carries on into your professional life. You thrive in startups because you want to be close to the decisions, close to the people, and close to the impact. At your core, you're not just here to support growth, you're here to build it. Your energy, Sara, is really contagious, and it's been such a pleasure getting to know you more. I'm really excited to dive in, and let's do this. Welcome to the breakout, and this is going to be awesome. I can already feel it.
Wow, Madison, that is so perfectly put. Oh my God, I love it.
Just soak it all in. Just have that moment for you, girlfriend.
I loved this so much. I don't think anyone's ever done something this good for me.
It's good. Well, you've actually done it. These are your stories.
It's everything you've done. You are amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell us a little bit about how did you get to the States? What was the process? Where did you get your degrees? It looks like you have a bunch of UK type work experience. And so just tell us a little story about you.
So, Jeff, I started my work experience back in 2019, and that was when I was like doing I was doing my bachelor's in accountancy and law. And halfway through my majors, I realized this is something that is so I don't think I'm interested in this anymore. And I was like, I need to immediately make a foundation towards HR. So 2019, I finished my degree, and then I do 2 back-to-back internships in HR to build that base for myself. And then literally the day my internship ends is the next day where I land a job with a company that was called WaveTech. And the role was so amazing because I was reporting to the HR manager and the CEO. So I was getting direct exposure. The CEO knew me personally, and I was learning everything I could on the job. And I obviously, since it was my first job, my intention when I started working was, I'm just going to work for 3 months, take my mom and my parents, my sister to Dubai, have a nice vacation, and then just finish. I was like, I don't want to work. I'm going to take a very early retirement. So this is something that I told my CEO at the job interview. And 3 months down the line, I go to him, like, I mentioned about going to Dubai. And he's like, yeah, you did. That's why I hired you. You're getting that paid vacation, and I want you to continue working when you're back. I was like, oh my God, that is because it was not even part of our policy. And he made an exception for me. And I was like, I love this. So I enjoyed Dubai. I came back, and the next day my salary gets credited. I was like, okay, let's get deep into it. That's when I understood that when you're close to the CEO and people who are making the decisions and they see your potential, you need to make sure that you show up more for them. You tell them that, what, this was just the tip of the iceberg. I've got so much more to show. And in that experience of mine, I worked there for a year. And I had to leave because of personal reasons. There were some family problems that I was going through. But when I left, my CEO asked me, like, will I be able to see you back? Will you be in the market? I was like, don't worry, I'm always an email away. He gave me an employee of the quarter twice in a year. And, I got an increment. I got the experience to work with international companies as well while working at WaveTech. And then I moved to a startup. And my point was when I'm moving to a startup, it's not because, it's just like I need work or it's something boring. From the get-go, I was clear that I want to build something. And if I'm building something, it should be from the scratch. I want to be the founding member of that company. I want to be known in the books of it. Like when I'm gone, when they tell you the stories about who set the base, I want to be there. So I want to be that person. And I was given that opportunity. And my boss was so open-minded. He told me, Sara, in the next 2 years, I want you to be so good at your job that you come to me and tell me I'm not learning anything anymore. If you've got something more challenging for me, give it to me or else I'm leaving. So he made sure that my job always had constant learning and development on it. And he would put me on the front face and he's like, go deal with it. And he has so much trust in me that it worked out. Like he would just throw me into situations and tell me, okay, this is a Dutch client that you're now working with. Now talk to them, make policies for them, plan their onboarding activities, do everything you want, just deal with them individually. And then he would never check back for like a week. For like 2 weeks, he wouldn't check on me. And then 2 weeks later, when the Dutch have to give in the report, they're like, we're very happy with Sara. She's the one who's like leading all the initiatives. So I think that's where it all started. I didn't even want to work. And when I saw the potential that CEOs or decision makers, basically, when they see that you have the potential in you, they gave you confidence. And I got that confidence from him. That is why when I even came across Boomband and I saw that I had direct access to Jeff, and who is, in the decision-making process, I wanted to make sure that Jeff remembers my name. So I made sure to ask smart questions, and be like attentive in those calls. And like, I wanted to impress Jeff, and I'm so glad that I'm sitting here.
Well, I didn't feel like you were doing it to impress me, so you obviously did a good job. What I saw you engaging in the community, and so we're actually looking at your dossier while we're talking. And do you like red?
Yeah, I love the color red.
Yeah, it sort of looks like that, just based on looking at you today and what you're wearing in the background of your image. There are some things in your background that I think are incredible, and I just want to make sure we get these out. The first thing is you built your own AI agent. Let's talk about that for a minute. How'd you build that?
So like I said, when I was networking on LinkedIn, I came across people who were talking about AI. I came across the group where you spoke as well, and it made me realize that I was using ChatGPT and Gemini, but I wasn't using AI to the potential that I should use. And I was kind
Right.
of let down in myself, like why I'm a builder. Why didn't I think about it? So there's this person on LinkedIn. I follow her. She gives great advice, and she gave me the advice of getting on Zapier that automates your task, and then using AI in that could help you with your job hunt. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't hurt to try. So I immediately went on. I had the free features for the first 15 days. I used them as well to the max potential. I watched a couple YouTube videos on it. How do I get the maximum out of it? And while the week before that I was applying for jobs, I was panicking too, for sure. Like I was like applying at every single job. But then when I got my focus towards AI and I was like, I need to target my approach. I need to be very specific on where I want to be. And if I don't know where I want to be, how is the person who's supposed to hire me know where they want to put me? So that's where the mindset shift happened, and I used AI, and I was just talking about it as well. If I'm applying to 3 to 4 jobs now, I am getting responses from 2 of them straight up, and that really changed my game. I got a lot of confidence with AI. I got a lot of experience using it, individually learning it on my own. So I was thinking, this is just me doing it in the aspect that I'm actively looking for right now. So when I get into the job industry, how can I make it better? I started searching up those platforms as well. So I'm always trying to stay ahead of the curve. So that's how I'm, trying to make the max out of AI as well.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about this LinkedIn online community, and let's sort of tie some of these things together and sort of what you like. Tell us about this community.
So back in 2020, when I was about to leave my job, and I realized that I need to make sure that I have the right networks to get into good companies, good corporate cultures, I immediately started sharing my learning of whatever I did in that 1 year of job experience that I had. And I started putting that out on LinkedIn, and I started helping people individually. Like, you know what, this is what you're searching for. Undergrads just coming out into the job market. What do you need to do? And I would just reach out to them. I would share those advices. I would give them one-on-one sessions. I actually for a couple months, I was making a side income from LinkedIn doing those sessions, and it was running pretty well for me. So that's what I did. I connected with these people individually on LinkedIn, and then most of them, I've also connected with them going to networking events. And I'm like, hey, I'm Sara. This is what I post about. I would love to be connected with you on LinkedIn. I see you're here at this event. So we obviously have a similar interest. So that's where the community building started, and it just grew on from there massively.
And so what do you do in that community today?
I make sure that even though I'm not currently working anywhere, but I make sure that whatever I'm learning, I make sure that the other person gets to know about that knowledge as well. Because if I'm learning, the other person is learning as well. I want everyone to go forward together in times where already there's so much challenge, there's a race going on. I want to make sure that if we're in this race, we're racing together, everyone's coming number one. So every time I learn something, I implement it, I see if it's actually working, and then I speak about it on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe this energy that I feel with you, but
Isn't our energy just the best? Like, I love it.
it's contagious. Makes me smile. It makes me want to help you, and I think big part of that is because you want to help others, right? It's very
Definitely,
genuine. It feels great. Let's have a little fun
Anytime
together.
we talk, I'm just happy. Like, I'm instantly happy when we talk. It's
The first thing I wanted you to describe is, what's your dream job? Because I think people are going to be looking at you, and what kind of job would be ideal for you?
I do think about this a lot currently because everyone's talking about a very generic exposure, a generic idea towards what they want. But I've got a very specific designation that I'm targeting, and it's something that's really going to pop up in the next days that I see. It's called Talent Systems Architect. Because I want to be in the talent industry. I want to create those systems, and I want to architect my way up. Like, I want to make sure that I'm with the management, with the people, and I'm creating something that's impactful for the business and for the employees. That's always been my approach. So that is a very specific designation that I'm looking for.
What's really cool is I think there's questions about, should TA stay under HR? Should, what is this function now? If AI is going to start to eat tasks, then you're going to end up with people that are going to manage a combination of human resources and digital resources. All of a sudden, the skills are going to change, and it's going to be a lot more, open-mindedness to changes that are happening, problem solving, creativity, critical thinking. And so this idea of a systems architect could be very exciting. And I think it's a worthy pursuit. I think you've traveled a lot. If your next job had you relocating, where would be the ideal place for that relocation to happen? And what would be a place that you would not want the job to be at?
The ideal place to be going would be New York, Brooklyn, just for the food, because they've got so many restaurants there, and I'll be able to experiment all these new cuisines over there.
Thanks.
The one place that I'm not saying it's not a place that's good enough. It's just that I don't want to go there because it's too hot. I don't want to go to Texas. It's too hot.
I was gonna thought you were gonna say Arizona. I really
No.
We're so hot in Arizona.
Texas.
You don't want to be my neighbor. Come on.
I went to Texas and it burned me to the ground, and I don't know how I survived that trip. So Texas is one thing I don't want to go to.
Right. All right. Do you like pizza?
I love pizza.
Okay, so I want you're in your favorite restaurant ordering a pizza. What pizza are you going to order?
I'm going to order a cheese pizza with bacon toppings. This might be controversial, but I might put pineapple on it.
It's
You're
funny.
a pineapple pizza girl.
My next question is, would you put pineapple on your pizza? And it's like, God, so good. But you're going to put bacon and pineapple. I'm telling you, if someone had an hors d'oeuvre and it's bacon and scallops, I'm all about it. But if it was bacon and pineapple in the middle, I would eat that too. I think that's a genius pizza. I like it a lot.
Do you dip your pizza in ranch or garlic
Yes,
or
I
anything, or you
do.
like it straight up?
I dip it in ranch as well. I take the whole thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm a ranch dipper. You
Yeah,
can get
I'm
it
a
right
ranch
on.
dipper.
It's good. All right, I'm interested in this. Favorite TV show from when you were a kid?
From when I was a kid. Interestingly, this podcast aligned on the exact 20th anniversary of that show. It's called The Hannah Montana Show that used to be on Disney Channel. And today is the 20th anniversary of that show.
Well, we planned this for Hannah Montana. No question about it, right? And why Hannah Montana?
Because it showed her she had two personalities, one as Miley and one as Hannah. And I believe that I wanted to be that I wanted to have that confidence where I could be one version of myself when I grow up and be the other version with just my close friends. And that really inspired me. I was like, oh, she's so confident. She's on stage and singing. And then there's a whole other side of her. And I wanted to be, mysterious or kind of like that. But I don't think I'm mysterious at all. I feel
She had
like
the best of both worlds, right?
yeah, the best of both worlds. Yeah.
The best of both worlds.
She is still a very confident.
100%. Yeah.
Mostly role model. I think she. What was it? A year or two ago, she was on Grammys, I think, and she was on stage, and I guess she was incredible.
Yeah, she won her first Grammy, and then she started dancing, and it was a very nice performance.
Yeah.
Jeff, does your daughter watch Hannah Montana? Has that stayed up with Next Generation? No.
No. In fact, she's 12, and so she liked Taylor Swift a couple years ago, and she's moved on from that. She likes some country boy singers, or it's kind of like her deal, I would say. And then she actually likes a little hip hop, and so you put this country and hip hop. I don't ever know what we're listening to in the car. Sarah, I want to thank you for being in the breakout with us. I'm very impressed with your background. You know, one of the things that Madison always says is we wish we could hire everybody that's on the show. And I wish I had a job that was the right job as a talent systems architect. And maybe that day will come. But very great background and fun. And I love your vibe. I think it's somewhere it says you set the vibe. And I love that. That's great. So the vibe has been set. So back to the main room. And you're going to go get Kelsey for us. And we'll wrap things up. And
Perfect.
thank you. for
Perfect.
being here.
Thank you, Jeff.
See you in a
I'll
little
see
bit,
you in a
Sarah.
while.
Give me a sign.
Hey, Kelsey, welcome to the breakout room.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Thank
How's
you
it
for being
going?
patient.
Oh,
I know,
I
but
love to
coming-
be
coming
impatient.
third
The
is like,
conversations are just fantastic. So
Awesome. So we have a style here, and Madison has gotten to know you, and she just can't wait to kind of put your background out there for
favorite part.
everybody. We decided a long time ago it's too hard to get you to describe your background in even like 5 minutes. So Madison, take it away.
Kelsey, you are a creative force who brings ideas to life across every medium. From branding and web to animation and video, you move seamlessly between digital and print, turning concepts into experiences that people actually feel and remember. You're a go-getter at your core. You worked 3 jobs during college, all while also pet sitting, which shows up today in your ability to wear many hats and thrive in fast-moving environments. You've supported major global brands, delivering everything from full marketing toolkits to high-impact campaigns, balancing speed with precision and never losing the details that make great design stand out. You adapt quickly, you take feedback in stride, and you always turn that feedback into something even stronger the next time around. You can tackle projects across any industry. However, you shared with me that your time working for a healthcare company alongside nurses meant something more. You already had a deep respect for the field from watching nurses care for family members, and getting to design in that space gave you the opportunity to combine your craft with something that's deeply personal and meaningful to you. But your path hasn't always been linear, and that's exactly what it makes it so powerful. You've been building your own freelance business, as we discussed. You've juggled multiple clients, you've met tight deadlines, and you're continuously evolving your skill set. And now you're really leaning into that freelance business more while also wanting to pursue your next full-time opportunity. Outside of work, that same creativity has always been part of who you are, and it started very early. You convinced your parents to get you a dog by presenting them with printed pages from every breed of the American Kennel Club. And it worked. You got your toy poodle. Even then, that really showed your creativity and your initiative and your ability to tell a story. It was already in motion, and you just kind of took it and grew from there. Today, you're the same curious, hands-on creator. You love painting, drawing, printmaking, building collages, and bringing ideas together and really bringing ideas to life in every form. You love taking care of the 5 chickens at your house. You have spent time also helping with goats. You enjoy birding with your partner, and you find joy in the small, real moments that keep you grounded each and every day. You're a gamer and a reader, and you're constantly sharpening your problem solving and teamwork skills in ways that most people wouldn't even think would connect back to their careers. Creativity and design isn't just something you do. It is who you are. It is your life's work. You bring meaning, curiosity, and humanity into everything you touch, and wherever you go next, I have no doubt you're turning it into a boom moment. Let's dive in more. Welcome, and we're really excited to have you with us today, Kelsey.
thank you. That was awesome.
Awesome. I like I like the range of your background. I was kind of seeing you were at Hallmark as a designer, and I'm seeing you talking about branding, web design. I was looking at your LinkedIn summary and animation and video, and you talk a lot about motion graphics. Tell me about that, because I think it really is what makes certain spots more interesting now. So, and that's a skill you have. So share it with us.
Yeah, so that's been a lot of fun to just live in After Effects and make my designs move. Like once I made that transition from like digital static to movement, I was like, oh, there's a whole nother world where I can make my design say something else. Um,
Mm.
so that has been amazing to be able to um, get to play with, especially at Hallmark, where I had the chance to wear all those many hats, and I was like, "Yep, I can do that," and would
Yeah.
make a motion graphic to go along with a video where someone's talking, and have like fun creating the graphics for it statically and then animating it in. So yeah.
Tell me about working at Hallmark. When I think about that, I think about like Hallmark cards. Did you ever get to design any cards?
No, it's Hallmark Healthcare Solutions.
Ah,
Right. That's where they get you.
no, no
Even
cards
when I
there,
got like
right?
the email for the interview, I was like, "Oh, Hallmark," and then I looked again. I was Healthcare Solutions. Okay.
Ah. Oh, yeah, that's both confusing and also probably an easy mistake,
Right.
but opens up a whole nother
Especially
area.
with doing what you do. Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. Another thing that I liked in your design kit was floor stickers.
Yes.
And I saw these, Madison, and I was like, I think Boom Band needs some floor stickers. Those are cool. And so is that like a rogue, like, guerrilla tactic where you're just putting these stickers on the floor?
No, I've actually did them for a couple companies now. I did them a lot for Work Human, where we're marketing like internal marketing a new software for employees. So like putting those on the floors of the office to like get people's attention. And then my favorite one was with Hallmark for a conference, an event. So we had two people go to those conferences, and we had them lay down and pretend like they were about to be stepped on. So like that was like that was a boom moment I definitely need to put in there as well. Those were a huge hit. Like really to like break the ice there and be like, come to our booth, like
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really good. I think this idea of these kind of alternative creative things sounds like that's been an important part of your
oh,
background.
absolutely.
Let's. One of the things I saw is that you feature your website. How do you say your last name?
Cabral.
So KelseyCabral.com. So I want to put a plug out there for that. And then I also saw that your image on LinkedIn is like a printed brochure.
Yes, I have the header image, like the hero image of my site
Yeah.
as the printed brochure. Basically, that's just one brochure I did at my first job that I like had that first moment of like, I feel really proud about this. Now I have made so much more things that are infinitely better than that one brochure. So it is probably time to try to change that one.
Yeah. So my reaction to that was, I think that there's probably a lot of companies out there still doing printed brochures because leave behinds are still a thing. But it might be interesting because you're doing these maybe sort of newer Adobe Suite type work to showcase that as a lead.
Right.
And then have that printed brochures. Yes, we also do those. That was just a reaction
No,
when I
that's
saw.
great.
I also, my other suggestion for you is, I don't think you post very much on LinkedIn. Sort of like a year ago and then like 4 or 5 months ago. And as a designer, I think it might be an opportunity, even with your freelance work, to be able to kind of show up and do little case studies or examples, and even having these case studies like we're talking about with the motion graphics or with these floor stickers or whatever. I'm not suggesting that I know the right things, but I think you also have a lot of interests. You do collages and painting and printmaking, and I think it really can show you off. Let me get you talking about this. What do you think?
I think that is right in line with what I want to do. I have like I write everything down in lists on piece of paper. On that list I have update your professional Instagram profile. And like with that I can easily tie that into LinkedIn with the posts that I make for my design work on Instagram, they can go on LinkedIn and like be and serve more of that like case study
Yeah,
function that you're talking about. So definitely going to write that down
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I think this idea of being present and sharing your content as part of your brand, especially in your role, I think would be very important. And right, as you move from graphic designer to senior graphic designer, you start to actually want to sort of command and control this. And who knows whether it's your own website or whether it's your next job that kind of defines, where your work is coming from.
Right.
And even that idea of a cash stack where you're actually doing something full time, but still have your side hustle and your freelance work.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. Let's talk about the open to work marquee on your LinkedIn. Did you think about that before you did that? Did you read the? Some people say it's well. What's your reaction to it?
I am honestly glad you asked that because I did have like a pausing reaction before like I put it on. Because before
Yeah.
when it first, I think it first came out around like COVID times where I was laid off in COVID times too. And it was just like an instant boop, everyone's putting that on their profile. And then for the past year or so, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm seeing the conversations of you shouldn't put that on there. You should actually just have it be you. And like then other people are like, no, put it on there. It tells people that you're open for work. And then other people, oh, but you are open for work otherwise. It's like so there's definitely that dichotomy there. And I was like, well, just put it on, see what happens. And I can take it off later if if that ends up being the solution.
You know what's crazy? On Boomband, we have open to work, but we also have open to opportunity,
Right.
open to collaboration,
I
all these
loved that.
things.
Yeah.
Because you can do Photoshop, and you can put any image on LinkedIn. Maybe you could put one that's like a little bit more marketing,
Right.
like open opportunity or something, maybe in a different color. So you're kind of playing with the concept, but making it so it's like
Making it
an
my
ad
own.
for
Yeah.
your design stuff, right?
Standing out a bit.
Possibility,
Hmm.
right? I know Matt Restaghini.
Yep.
We need a little inside track because Matt's a fractional marketing director for us, and he's doing a great job. And I love the fact that he referred you. So now I got to get some dirt. So tell me a little bit about that Matt experience.
Well, it's funny because I told Madison too. I was like, when she asked me about that, I was like, Matt, best boss ever. Like, absolutely,
That's
like,
awesome.
fantastic to collaborate with. Like, our brains just worked together when those ideas came together. And he was like, can you make something that looks kind of like this? And I'm like, done. Here it is. Like, I knew exactly where you're going with that. So, like, it is nice to meet people and collaborate people like that have like this open mind and like just like funness still there, you know?
Yeah. He started right out of school working for me at Monster.
Oh yeah.
And so that's the experience that I have with him is he really grew up in the Monster environment. And I had a chance. He reached out to me early. You just built your dossier on Boomband. Well, he built one before we even had one. And he presented it to us, and he was very good at marketing himself. A little bit of what we've just been talking about for you
Right.
to market yourself. He did a very good job of marketing himself to us. And it was easy. He made it easy, right? And I think that's especially as a senior designer partner, anytime you can make it easy, that really helps. And, bring your innovation, but also bring your ability to kind of smooth through these things, I think is great. So
Exactly.
I want to make sure we have a little fun. I've had chickens before. They are a lot of work. Just talk a little bit about that process.
Yeah, so that's been crazy.
Why do you have chickens?
So, housing on Nantucket is absolutely crazy to get, especially at an affordable rate. So we found this apartment, and part of the deal with the apartment is that you help to take care of the chickens. And I'm like, absolutely, I'll do that for free. Like, I'll do it if I live somewhere else. I'll come over and I'll take care of them. Like, say hello. So me and the other person that lives in the other apartment next to ours, we take care of the chickens and feed them twice a day, and they're just the absolute sweetest things. And we get eggs.
Wow. So they're not even your chickens.
Not even our chickens.
They are
That's
like
fun.
you're fostering them. They're like your
my
foster chickens.
chickens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you live on Nantucket.
Yep. Yep. Just moved here. It's been great.
That's great. Yeah, it is hard to find an apartment
Yep.
and to keep it all year where, rent is very high in the summer.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Exactly.
so that's good. So if those chickens, when you went out to see them, if all of a sudden they could talk, what do you think they would say?
They probably want.
Or what would your conversation be?
We'd probably talk a lot about how they're cohabiting with some rats right now. And I don't know, like, I'm so curious. I would be so curious to know if they're friends or if they're enemies. Like, because, like, I'll see the rats come out and eat the food, and the chickens will go to the other side of the pen. And I'm like, I need to go scare off those rats now. Like, or if the chickens are in some kind of cohabiting relationship where they leave some food for the rats. Maybe they're friends.
Right?
I
Right, but the
know
fact
it's
that
not
they moved
chickens,
to
but
the
I just
other
got like
side-
Templeton from when you said that, I saw like Templeton from Charlotte's Web for whatever
Yep.
reason. It was like the little rat that was always the pig and the spider.
Madison's got a little one. I love it. If you won the lottery, I've got a couple fun questions,
Yeah.
right? So first of all, would that be a good thing?
Oh, yeah. I think about that all the time.
You do. All right. So I've
That would
got
be a boom
three.
moment for sure.
Oh, yeah. Putting that on the
Three
resume.
things. What would be the first thing you would buy? What would be the first gift you would give? And what's the thing you would not do?
First thing I would buy would be my student loans, paying them off. Second thing I would buy is my best friend's student loans, paying those off. And something I wouldn't do is I wouldn't buy a big house. I'd buy just like a 2-bed house, like just something simple that I need, and save
Okay.
the money to
So that's
share with
something you
friends,
would buy
family.
and something you would not do together.
Yep.
Yeah. And would it be on Nantucket?
That is a great question. We are
The lottery might allow you to do
yeah,
that.
for sure. They would allow it to do it, and there would be a small house at a big lottery price for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe
And then-
one on Nantucket and one on the mainland. Who knows?
Nice. Two houses.
Two houses.
All right. How about something you would gift?
I'd definitely gift like my father a good house, and like gift him
A
like
lot of houses in this picture.
yeah.
Yes.
Him like a
This is no
maid
longer-
service, like make sure like he's all taken care of, like he doesn't have to
yeah.
clean anymore. Give him some gift cards to his favorite restaurants.
Nice. All right. Last one. Favorite book you like to
Oh
read?
yeah, favorite book. It is between two right now because I'm reading a series that's really good. Dungeon Crawler Carl. That might end up being my favorite book. But Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. I read that, and that stuck with me. That book was fantastic.
Tell us about this book, the author. What's the basic through line?
I can't remember the author for Tomorrow, but the basic through line for that was it is about this guy who's in college, and he starts to create a video game. He's a video game developer, and it focuses on his relationships with his friends who he's making the game with, and then the story gets wild from there. And I'm crying at the end of the book. like touching. And then Dungeon Crawler Carl is like a lot of people call it like food for your brain, like a fun snack. Like it is like you could just like read it and just have fun. You don't have to think that much about it. Like it is simply like
Nice.
you are just enjoying it, and anyone can enjoy it. Like you don't have to like dungeon crawling
Easy read.
video games. You don't have to know anything like that. It's basically like
I
the
have-
apocalypse happens and you're stuck in a dungeon. What do you do?
I have a 15-year-old son. Would he like both these books?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially Dungeon Crawler. Yep.
Good. 'Cause he can only do a certain amount of screens. And then he's like, oh, I'm so bored.
Right.
And I'm like, you got to read. He's like, there's no books. And so I'm always looking for a good book for him to read. And so that's good.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for being in the breakout.
Yeah.
I like your background. I think the AI stuff we were talking about and like experimentation,
Oh, yeah.
I think is probably important for you just to kind of stay up with what's happening. Best to you out in Nantucket and like exploring that marketplace. I know some people out there, so we might be able to talk offline and I could introduce you to a couple of
Awesome.
people. I am always with gratitude with people that take a little risk and put themselves out here. And I just want to thank you for being on the show. And let's go back to the main room.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
We'll see you back in the main room. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Give me a sign if you love your life.
Hey, everybody, welcome back.
Hey, welcome back.
Hi.
How what was the conversation like happening in this room?
We were talking about a lot of things. We talked about coffee. We talked about job markets. We talked about AI, how to help each other use AI with the job hunt and everything. There were interesting conversations in this room.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Great.
So I guess Sara has a little app, right? You've
Yeah,
got
I have a little AI agent that works for me that does all my work and like go look a job for me, and it does that for me.
Yeah, so maybe we can figure out how to share that, maybe with
Yep.
these guys or maybe with others too. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Got it written down.
Just quickly, tell me about your experience with the dossier on Boomband. Did you enjoy building that? Did you like the finished product? And it's obviously never done, but love to hear your experience.
I totally love the idea of having a visual representation of something that's outside of your resume. And I was telling Keyna and Kelsey about it. I had a very similar idea when I was doing my master's, and I presented it to my teacher, and he's like, "Nah, that's not gonna work. It's not an idea that you could cash on. It's something to forget about it." And he gave me a B on it. And now we're here on a podcast for it. I'm looking for that teacher. Like, where are you now?
Find his email.
Just share your dossier if you still have his email and be like, look at me now.
Yeah, I was like, how dare you give me a B? I could have had a better GPA.
Well, you know what's fun is just the idea of being able to see your whole self. And, each of you had moments in your dossier that like I didn't know about even when I was doing the research on talking to you guys. And so I think that idea that you can enhance the relationship development and you can now use that address and you can share that with others. And so when you're in the interview process, leave your LinkedIn up there if you want to, but also add your Boomband address and make it so that you're introducing people to your whole self as you go through the process.
Definitely.
I learned a lot from each of you, and I think it was great to hear. I don't feel doom and gloom in this group. I think everyone's got possibilities. Everyone's got plans.
energy.
There's a lot of reinvention and pivoting and evolving, and not so much into the ether at this point, and not so much struggle with easy apply. I think each of you has your direction, and I just want to know from each of you, do you feel seen? Did this feel like it helped you be more human?
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah. It definitely felt that way.
And it's not complicated, right? And then each of you can either pull your clips or you can share the show. And one of the things we've already realized is that it's a great way to reach back out to your whole network and say like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. I know you didn't help me the last time I asked you, but like this
I love
time,
a super
maybe
cool
you can
podcast.
watch this.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that you can kind of restart your network with a video saying, this is me right now in the moment and share it out there. So what's cool about this is that everyone gets a chance to meet you guys.
Yep.
If you're interested in talking to Sara or talking to Kelsey or talking to Keyna, then just go to showcase@boomband.com. We'll make sure you get connected. We'll get you connected to their Boomband dossiers. For everybody else out there, start building your dossiers.
Yeah.
We're open. And I'm proud of you guys. Nice job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. It was so nice meeting you.
Did it!
All right, what a great show. I love hearing the stories. I like getting human. Get out from behind that resume and meet our players. If you're interested in any of them, email us at showcase@boomband.com. And give me a sign that you love your life. Come see us next week.
If you love